One afternoon I spotted an elderly woman huddled in the corner of a big room. She was obviously new to the camp. She'd been put in the big room along with 3 other families and told she could set up housekeeping in the corner. There she crouched like a whipped child, her faded worn dress pulled tightly around her frail, wasted body. I could sense she was distressed by the bedlam of all the crying children, but most of all defeated by life itself. I went to her, sat beside her on the floor, and asked who she was. I learned she had been a professor of music at the Dresden Conservatory before the war. Now she had nothing. I asked her to tell me about her life, knowing that sometimes it helps just to have someone willing to listen. She told me that a minister in a nearby town had given her permission to play his piano. She had also learned of several farmers' children nearby who wanted to receive music lessons. But the minister's home was miles away, and the only way to get there was on foot. It all seemed so hopeless. "You are a professor of piano?" I asked excitedly. "I'm a great lover of Germany's master musician, Johann Sebastian Bach." For an instant her eyes lighted up. "Would you care to join me to the minister's home?" she asked with great dignity. "It would most be happy to play for you." It was a great privilege, and even though we had to walk many miles, I sensed God was doing something special. She seated herself at the battered piano, and I looked at the instrument. Even though it had been saved from the bombing, it had not been protected from the rain. The strings were exposed through the warped frame, and I could see that they were rusted. Some were broken and curled around the others. The pedals had long been broken off, and the keyboard was almost entirely without ivory. If any of the notes played, it would be a miracle. Looking up, the old woman said, "What would you like me to play?" Silently I prayed, knowing that failure at this moment could crush her forever. Then, to my own amazement, I heard myself saying, "Would you please play the Chromatic Fantasy of Bach?" I was aghast. Why had I picked one of the most difficult of all piano pieces for this old woman to play on such a ruined instrument? Yet the moment I said it, I saw a light flicker behind her eyes, and a slight knowing smile played across her tired face. She nodded, and with great finesse put her fingers on the broken keyboard. I could hardly believe my ears. From that damp, battered old piano flowed the most beautiful music of Bach as her skilled fingers raced up and down the broken chipped keys. Tears came to my eyes and ran down my cheeks as I thought of wounded Germany, left with only the remnants of the past, still able to play beautiful music. Such a nation will survive to create again, I thought. As the notes of Bach faded from the air, the words of an old gospel song written by the blind composer Fanny J. Crosby came to mind. "Down in the human heart, crushed by the tempter, feelings lie buried that grace can restore. Touched by a loving heart, wakened by kindness, chords that were broken will vibrate once more."